Okay, so when you guys need to saw inside an area that doesn't need to be sawn into, you need to drill a hole so that you can put your saw blade in through the hole and begin cutting inside the shape. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you can't see, come closer, but these are called flex shafts. They're miniature drill presses, okay? Raise your hand if you ever use a drill press or a Dremel of any sort. Okay, good. So the one thing is that it spins, and it's very important to know which way it's spinning. It can either go forward or backward. So when you first come up to this machine, there's two of them, or whichever one you're going to decide to use, you can check it right here. And this is circled forward. You always want it to be turned on to the left, okay, where there's two lines. If it's in the middle, it's off. If it's to the left, it's going forward, because you need to cut. So spinning it that way is going to make it cut through the metal. Same thing with this. This should be on forward also. You do not have to keep turning it off and on. I turn it off at the end of the day, okay? So you'll notice that there's two different flex shafts, and they're both set up differently. You see that? Okay. One operates just like a drill press, and it goes up and down, and you operate it with this handle here. All right? The other one is free hand, and you have to hold it like this, okay? And you have to make sure it's going up and down. So I'm going to show you how to do both of those in just a second. So when you come up to here and you're learning, I want you to make sure that you read these directions here. There's two posted. There'll probably be another one posted. They're the same exact thing. I'm going to read through them so that you can see that it tells you exactly what to do, okay? So before you begin, you got to make sure you are wearing safety glasses. Safety glasses, okay? Not my cool green ones, but there's some up here. Safety glasses. If they're broken, please let me know or something like that, and I'll get you a new pair. You're wearing a nice, fabulous pair there, too. Okay. If you have long hair, you got to pull it back. If you have loose articles of clothing, like your two strings for your sweatshirt, you need to tuck those in, okay? Anything that's loose, even like big sleeves, roll them up. You do not want to get it caught on something that's spinning, because it will suck you through, okay? Woo! There's some hair ties right here, if you want to use those. So you also want to make sure that your metal is large enough to hold. For this first project, we all have a large enough piece of metal, you can hold it with your hand. But if you are going to be drilling something that is smaller, and you're going to saw something out, think about it. If you cut it out and it's a tiny shape, and then you try to drill the hole, it's going to be very hard to hold. So sometimes on designs, you're going to drill a hole before you saw it out. Does that make sense? Okay, so the next step would be to make a center punch. Little mark where, oh, there's no hammer here. Someone keeps putting the hammer over there. Someone grab me a hammer over there, please. Okay, these are hole punches. I just sharpened them. And what those do is they give you a little mark for the drill bit, okay? Hi. Sure. So wherever I want to make the mark, I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to tap it with the hammer, okay? And it's going to give me a mark. You have to make sure you're doing it on this steel plate also, okay? Otherwise it won't make a mark. I always leave a hammer here in this block here, and then I have 3 hole punches, and those go right here with those hole punches, okay? So now I'm ready to go, okay? I have everything ready before I start using the drill. Okay, now step 2 says decide what drill bit size you need. You don't need to know that, you just need to put a hole in your metal right now, okay? You'll learn about that later. All right, I'm gonna double check, make sure this is turned on in the forward position, and then I'm gonna sit down at one of these spots. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this out so that you understand how to put it in. This is called a chuck key, okay? It's got little gears on it in order to loosen. Lefty-loosey is going to... Exactly. So lefty-loosey is going to take the drill bit out. If there's not a drill bit in there, you don't have to worry about it. But you have to put it in, back in, and make sure that it is centered, okay? Now that's the trickiest part. So... and there's a trick to knowing if it is centered. So I'm going to now go righty-tighty, and I'm going to make it as tight as I can, okay? Now, if I want to make sure that it's straight, I'm going to turn it on. Down here is the foot pedal that controls the speed. Okay, you should never have to go like that. That is too fast, you guys. There, you got it out of your system. Do not do that. This is good like this. Yeah. You do not have to go fast. But it does take a little bit to control it, all right? Now, the reason I spun it before I started drilling, why do you think I did that? See if what?
Centered.
Very good. So if it's not centered, you're going to see it wobbling when you spin it. Always make sure you do that. So it looks pretty centered to me, right? The next step would be you have to drill on some wood, and sometimes you might notice that it's not drilling because you don't have this lined up. You want to make sure that this goes past the wood a little bit, okay? All right, and the way that you can adjust that is there is a adjuster here that just goes up and down. You should rarely have to do this because I'm going to try to make sure it's always like that, but sometimes it slips or something. And then this one also adjusts, okay? So you just want to make sure that it's touching, going a little bit past. All right, so now my next step would be to line up my hole, and what I do is I don't push the pedal, I just make sure that the hole is lined up with the drill bit, okay? And when you're drilling, it's good to like not go like super fast, but to go slowly and let it breathe, because if the teeth get clogged on the drill bit, it might not cut as well, okay? So I'm gonna go for it, all right? And there it is. Okay, does everybody understand? You can see through it now. Okay, when you are done, you put the tools back where they go. So right now, if someone's in line after you, it's okay, but I kind of would like everybody to kind of learn how to use this. So loosen this up, put this inside this bin, put the lid back on it, this goes in here, this goes here, and everything looks pretty good. All right? The only difference is, guys, if you're going to use this one, is it works the same exact way. You check it if it's straight, and then you hold this straight up and down. Okay? Okay. If it freaks you out to have something spinning really close to you, you can use one of those C-clamps, or not C-clamps, I'm sorry, the ring clamps, to hold your metal in place. All right? Does anybody have any questions? Excellent job at listening. Thank you very much. Woo! Okay.